Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. So I wanted to kind of weigh in on my perspective of the Kirk Franklin leaked audio, kind of cussing out his son, called him a bitch ass nigga. I didn't feel a way about that. Me and my mother, and it's the only thing I can really reference. Growing up in a single parent household with my mom, we had moments where we said things. She said things to me that would sting a little bit. She never used the N word. That was not a word she used at all. But as far as like saying different things to just, get her aggression out and put me in my place, of course, those things were said. And sometimes I didn't feel too good, but sometimes I deserved them nevertheless. And it was her right as my mother to discipline me as she saw fit. And even though I wasn't blessed enough to have my mom well into my 30s, my mom passed at 31 for me. And I understand that this is his 33-year-old son in regards to this particular situation. But nevertheless, if my mother were alive, nothing would change in that regard. I still have to revere her the same way, and I feel like that's an honor to do that. And, I can't speak to their specific situation. I don't know the mindset of his son. For all I know, his son is ill. And if his son is ill, then a lot of what we're dealing with has to be looked at from a certain perspective and through a certain lens. It's very easy to look at a guy who's got a father who's famous and probably is, they're well off. I'm pretty sure they got their money. It's very easy to look at that situation and say, this kid is spoiled. This kid got all this going for himself and he's not appreciating his father, especially someone like myself who, like I said, I lost my parents at 31. He's 33 years old. He can't do nothing but leak his parents' audio, of them cussing him out. You didn't leak everything. You didn't leak everything you said that would bring him to that space. I listened to that video, that audio. It was spliced quite a bit. Things left out to paint Kurt a certain way, and everybody that I've read about, and I think it's almost unanimous, they all agree. I think I saw maybe 2 comments of someone who said, I was abused, and it was personalized. It's like, I was abused, just like I did here. I was spoken to a certain way. It didn't feel good, and of course that person was projecting. People like that who can't see outside of their own circumstances, they don't hold a whole lot of credibility with me. If you can't fathom outside of your own circumference, then chances are your perspective is skewed by what it is that you've been through, and quite frankly, you can't help us. All you see is what you've been through. That doesn't help them. So while I can see my similarities in my own situation, I can definitely see myself not in this situation and still see credence in analyzing it as such. Giving credence to what I don't know, and the fact of the matter is, it's a personal matter first and foremost. So whatever they got going on is none of our business. But since Kurt made it public in terms of his apology, for which I didn't think was necessary, though I appreciate it, I guess it's okay for us to kind of weigh in. So that's really the only reason why I'm weighing in, because Kirk addressed it. So, as far as his son is concerned, if there's a mental issue there, which I wouldn't necessarily assume or not, then I just want to send nothing but well wishes and prayers to their family, because at the end of the day, we can bash his son for being whatever we want to call him, but at the end of the day, this is his kid. And if something were to happen to this dude, even if it's karma for what he's done to his father or saying to his father, it would still hurt Kirk so much more than any of us could ever imagine, just simply for the fact that this is his son. And 2, I've heard the side of the story where people say, whatever Kirk's son is, his father raised him to be. And, it's very difficult to dispute that. It's very difficult to dispute that, knowing that, Kirk was in the house. It's not like my father's, to where you look at some of my ways and my tendencies and you say, well, my father didn't instill that in me because he wasn't here to do so. If you were raised in a household where you have both your parents, whatever you are, your parents enabled it one way or another. And it doesn't sit well to blame our parents for what it is that's wrong with us, but it would not be responsible for us to rule out some of the things that we've become based on what it is that our parents put in us. It just is what it is. Not only just parents, but anybody that was your guardian, anybody that had you for any good length of time as a child. Whatever you took from them, you carry with you one way or another, even if you barely remember it. Those tendencies, those ways, even in how you speak, a lot of that stuff is going to be carried on from people that you've known in the past, people that raised you. So yeah, there's room for that, and I'm pretty sure Kirk Franklin is dealing with that on his own. He's dealing with that. So I see people bashing his son, saying, "Oh, Kirk Franklin's son ain't nothing. I'm on Kirk's side." If you're on Kirk's side, just send him prayers. You know, as a man who at least understands that much, there's no peace in us talking crap about Kirk's son for Kirk to hear in his defense. That is a side of the coin that Kirk can only take so far, because at the end of the day, that is his child, as his son, and even though he's a grown man, it's obvious there's a lot of trouble there, and the turmoil between his son and his daughter, and him being in the middle of that's pain and stress for a father as well. He doesn't want his kids to be at odds with one another. A good parent doesn't want their kids to be at odds with one another, least of all because of them. Because when the parent leaves, it's just the kids left behind, and sometimes the kids be at odds. Sometimes it can get really ugly when the parent is not around to keep them together. So it's obvious to me that Kirk Franklin's family is under a spiritual attack. If you're a believer in the faith that they share, then you will equate it as a spiritual attack. Now, I think a lot of positive can come out of this. If there is an issue mentally with his son, the backlash that his son has received is a wake-up call. I think he thought this was going to go one way, and obviously it's going the other, because everybody's taking Kirk's side on this. Everybody sees his son as somebody who's done the wrong deal here, and looks ungrateful and looks snotty, it looks horrible, you know, especially that he's grown. If he was 18, kind of can expect this from an 18-year-old. 33, I'm wondering if there's something seriously wrong with you. You know what I mean? And that's not disrespectfully speaking. I'm just being completely and utterly open here. I think there's something very wrong there with his age coupled with the behavior. Nah, there's something wrong there. So prayers out to Kirk Franklin. I understand that everybody has their own family problems. Your problems, whoever this is listening to me, your problems may be greater than that. I give credence and prayers to you as well. You know, I don't put celebrities on pedestals. I just know that a lot of times celebrities' lives give us examples from which we can kind of apply certain lessons and things of that nature. I think that's what the universe can do for us when witnessing people who have more than us, who have fame that we want or whatever, what have you, if you're time to be famous. The flip side is, whatever their story is, you can take something from it, whether good or bad, and it's for the world to see. And that's the sacrifice they make as people who are famous. You know what I mean? The lessons they learn, the things they go through, it's like, it's not just entertainment for us, it's wisdom for us to snatch up. So within this situation, I would just want all of my viewers to understand each and every angle of this situation as it pertains to the sensitivity of the feelings involved, of the people involved, etc. Kirk is not going to be happy. If he's a good man, he's not going to be happy seeing us say, F your son, he's the worst, he's a trash, da, da, da. We're with you, Kirk, he's a piece of, do this, do that to him. Like, that doesn't do nothing for the father. He's miserable hearing stuff like that, because his son is his pride and joy. If you're a real man, your kids are your pride and joy. You would sacrifice everything to see that they're taken care of. So if they're disgraced, you're not happy. You know what I mean? That's if you're a good parent. And this just, I guess I can take this into another conversation. You know, when you're talking about the church and putting your faith in other people who have the Lord and understand the word and things of that nature, you have to understand, and I've already said this in the previous video, you have to give respect to the fact that they're just people. They're human beings, man. They're going to go through whatever the feelings are. They're going to have their chemical imbalances. They're going to have their addictions. They're going to have their little idiosyncrasies. They're going to have their little sex stuff. They're going to have things that they're interested in, foods that they like, all the different stuff that humans are, feelings, emotions, pain, sufferings, things that they've gone through. You're going to deal with that. You're going to deal with that, and you're going to deal with it in the public eye, which is very difficult for a lot of people. Especially if you're a man of the cloth. So when you're in the front of the church and you're preaching and you're doing all that, it's very important that you suppress the ability to say some of these words that we heard Kirk say, not be seen in a light that condemns your own seed. A lot of people may turn away from Kirk's from a spiritual perspective because they say, if he don't have his life together, how can he lead me? And I just think that's the wrong approach to begin with. I think if you're not looking to work with a human being, you better define what a human being is before you walk in that church. You need to be able to work with human beings. My preacher can help me, and I can pray for my preacher. My preacher may fall short as a human being. I came from a church where my preacher was in several marriages while I was there. One marriage, when we had one first lady and she left, and we had another first lady come in. It was like, he was having issues in that area. He had all of his life together. He was an amazing preacher. He gave us the word. We could apply it to our lives and all this and that. But in his personal life, he really dealt with his struggles. And it was understood, and I embodied that as somebody, even as a child, going to his church. I never said, my preacher's not supposed to ever have any issues. His wife is supposed to always be happy with him. His family situation is supposed to be tight. It was like, no. Let people be people. Work with human beings just like you want people to work with you. You're going to go to a church and your pastor is falling short. He's just a person. That's all he ever going to be, is a person just like you. So give credence to the fact that these people are not perfect.
Sam 14.
Go for 14, sir.
You clear for break?
10-4, thank you, sir. Yeah, sorry about that. So it's important, man. I just wanted to get up here and say that. Let your preacher be himself. And if you're in the wrong church and you're getting the wrong vibes from your preacher, or if you have this unrealistic expectations that they're supposed to be superhuman, same as you do with your celebrities. So it seems like people who think that way in regards to celebrities too. Like they're supposed to have it all together just because they're famous. No. Understand that human beings are just that, and fame doesn't do anything but apply more lights on your weaknesses and strengths and everything that embodies you from a image perspective, which can also be very, 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 very misguiding. Your image and who you actually are can be two very different people, especially as it pertains to others making money off of you. Fame, even in the church where you have a whole bunch of people who are all looking to you to be the breadwinner for what it is that they do. Yeah, image is important, and embellishing that image may be necessary depending on who you are naturally. You got to understand that as somebody who's either patronizing these celebrities or going to these churches as a member, you got to understand that these are just human beings, and whatever you struggle with, they're capable of struggling with or more, because people are people, and that's it. Anyway, my name is BDF44. It's time for me to go to lunch. Thank you guys for watching all that I do. Thank you guys for remembering that I'm a person, too. I see you as a person. I am not a role model, though I would love to strive to have those type of traits. I'm not there yet. I wouldn't tell nobody to follow me in regards to those things, but I can tell you, if we're on this journey together, we can learn together. We don't have to condemn one another for being weak or in some areas. Let's just pick each other up. Share knowledge, share wisdom, value knowledge, value wisdom, and I think we'll be all right. My name is BDF44, and I'm out.